But when Rex stood behind helping the people who were with him on that street to run away, he took a bullet. And he took a bullet for all of us.
Sana kusikia kupigiwa simu at Rex ameshutiwa town. Wana Mungu ni uchungu. Sijui vile watoto wangu wataishi kwa hiyo nyumba juu ya Rex, kwa sababu alikuwa anawapea advice. Saa zingine wakikosana Rex anaweka pamoja. Sasa ile kitu ninaomba tu mtatuweka kwa maombi ili hata Rex akienda tutamiss sana. Rex, nitakumiss baba. Lala salama Rex.
May his soul and every soul that was lost rest in peace. Now, a cabinet meeting was yesterday held at State House, which was chaired by President William Ruto, and was informed that though the riot started as a protest against the tax measures proposed in the Finance Bill 2024, they were infiltrated, hijacked, and taken over by criminal and opportunistic political forces. Due to the threat posed to Parliament, the Supreme Court, and other infrastructure, the cabinet was informed that all national security agencies, including military, were deployed to forestall the breakdown of law and order. Now, the cabinet was also informed that the security agencies have stabilized the situation and are continuing to monitor the developments. The president said that the government must now focus on charting a new future for the country, pointing out that significant changes must be made to align with that new future. Now, for the second day running, senators debated the State of the Nation motion filed by the Majority Leader Aaron Cheruiyot, voicing the sentiments over the anti-finance and anti-government protests witnessed in the country. The senators have demanded for an explanation from the Inspector General of Police, that is Mr. Japhet Koome, of the deaths reported due to alleged police brutality in the country that saw 41 deaths reported.
Parliament, the judiciary and county governments working with the National Treasury also undertake budget cuts. This clearly shows, Speaker, that the President knows exactly what he needs to do and precisely what he needs to focus on. Get rid of corruption, get rid of wastage, get rid of breaching court orders, get rid of misdirective and duplicative pots of money like CDF, which completely usurp the true function of a legislator. Speaker, members of Parliament are supposed to legislate and ministries are supposed to implement. No parliamentarian should have a CDF allocation because our role is simple: to represent, to oversight, and legislate. We have no business building markets and roads and hospitals. Get rid of CDF that bastardizes the role of a member of Parliament. We also want a repeal of other unconstitutional legislations since this government came into power. And we want leaders to be leaders, Speaker, not leaders to be dealers.
A very bold lady right there. Now, Nairobi leaders have condemned the looting experienced in Kenyan streets, especially in major cities, stating that the initially peaceful Gen Z demonstrations have escalated and been taken over by looters who are burning and destroying property. They stressed that it's time for Gen Zs to stop the looters and give the president a chance to address their grievances and allow the country to rebuild. They have also urged the president to consider supporting the families who lost their loved ones as part of the healing process.
Kama wa Kenya, tafadhalini wacheni na mali. Nilikuwa na ndugu yangu mwingine alikuwa kwa maandamano, alikuwa yatima, amefunguliwa duka, ameibiwa hiyo duka. Sasa ule mtu umezidi kumuacha maskini ama umempatia nini maendeleo? Tuwasema wacheni kuvunja duka za watu. Wacha wale watu wa Gen Z ambao walikuwa na agenda mzuri ya kuandamana. Hata Samoyo Ruto, William President, alisema andamana. Usivunje mali ya mtu, polisi usiue mtu, hata KDF akatoa. Sasa wewe wavunja nyumba ya mtu ya nini?
We ask the president as he will be making the necessary changes, to please consider the youth in different appointments, as they have modern skills and ideas on how things can be done to serve the people of this nation in a better way. His Excellency, we know you have mercy, but don't have mercy on the people who are misleading you and the people who are lazing around on jobs, people who are sleeping on jobs. Sack. Show your power. Dismiss them today, His Excellency. Put there people who will help this country for once and for all.
Your Excellency, hawa vijana si watoto wabaya, ni vijana wale ambao umelea na vijana wale ambao walikuwa wanazunguka wakifuata gari zako mbio. Sasa ni time yako ya kuimplement. Wale mawaziri wamekuzunguka hapo na wafanye kazi. Your Excellency, futa hawa watu kazi, chukua hata hawa vijana 3 ama 4
for once and for all.
Your Excellency, hawa vijana si watoto wabaya, ni vijana wale ambao umelea na vijana wale ambao walikuwa wanazunguka wakifuata gari zako mbio. Sasa ni time yako ya kuimplement. Wale mawaziri wamekuzunguka hapo na wafanye kazi. Your Excellency, futa hawa watu kazi, chukua hata hawa vijana 3 ama 4 waeke kwa hizo ofisi. Your Excellency, hawa vijana si watoto wabaya, ni vijana wale ambao umelea na vijana wale ambao walikuwa wanazunguka wakifuata gari zako mbio. Sasa ni time yako ya kuimplement. Wale mawaziri wamekuzunguka hapo na wafanye kazi. Your Excellency, futa hawa watu kazi, chukua hata hawa vijana 3 ama 4 waeke kwa hizo ofisi.
Still in the same story, activists have accused rogue police officers of using excessive force during the anti-government protest. The sentiments come when reports indicated that more than 40 people have died during the protest and over 350 others injured, with more than 600 people arrested during the demonstrations. The groups have been pushing for reforms in the police service and have also threatened to go to court to push for accountability of those found culpable and those who gave orders to shoot and meet violence on peaceful protesters.
When demonstrations are recorded or people disengage from the streets and go maybe into other spaces like dialogues and whatever, the question of accountability is never resolved. You remember from even 2007, 2015 demonstration, 2017, 2018, last year between March and July, a lot of atrocities were committed. So basically, what we have been doing, and you will find that in the statement we issued last week, we are going to pursue command responsibility for those who have been issuing these unconstitutional orders to their officers, and we are also going to be pursuing individual accountability for the police officers who also accept to implement these criminal directives, so that in the future we secure what we call guarantee on non-repetition.
We are therefore calling on the government to protect Kenya's civic space and ensure the safety of human rights defenders and organizations. To secondly, instruct law enforcement officers to uphold their duty to protect public order and safety during assemblies and demonstrations as per Article 244 of the Constitution of Kenya. We are also calling on them to ensure accountability for those responsible for the violence and opportunistic crimes seen during the protests, and facilitate open dialogue with citizens.
Welcome back once again. This is time for the newspaper review. Kicking us off is, of course, the Daily Nation. Now, in the Daily Nation, heavy burden of new student loans. Now, degrees of debts. Families are paying higher fees than before under the higher education funding model unveiled last year. They will also end up saddling their children with hefty loans upon graduation. And with the current job crisis, things can only get worse. That is what the Daily Nation is featuring today. Now, an easy calm returns to the streets in many towns as protesters keep away. This is in regards to yesterday. And then at the very center of the Daily Nation, why Inspector General Kome is a man under siege. Where is he? The youth protests against unpopular taxes and runaway costs of living, as well as the National Police Services handling of the demos in which at least 39 people have been killed, have once again revived speculations that the police boss isn't sitting pretty. Where is he? At the very back, how oil marketers charged customers an extra 5.4 billion Kenyan shillings. Now that is worrisome. Then we definitely go to the Standard. The Standard newspaper has a title, The Last Supper. I love this. Someone is working overtime over here. After weeks of protests, yesterday's cabinet meeting could be the last one for at least 7 members pushed to the wall on wastage and extravagance. President William Ruto has decided to axe ministers and principal secretaries as the first line of reforming his government. That is what is being featured on the Standard newspaper. IEBC 6 Boundaries Crisis Court Order also being featured right there. And then at the very back of the Standard, of course, the sports page, Spain versus Germany facts. This will be the 4th meeting between Spain and Germany, and then their last such meeting was in 2008 final, Spain winning 1-0. Then this is the first meeting between Spain and Germany since the 2022 World Cup. Spain are unbeaten in their last 4 major tournament matches against Germany. Germany are unbeaten in their last 8 games against La Roja on their own turf. No host nation has ever been eliminated from the quarterfinal stage of the UEFA European Championship. This will be Germany's 19th quarterfinal tie across the World Cup and UEFA European Championship. That is 5 for UEFA and 14 for World Cup. Now they have progressed from 15 of their previous 18, and 10 Germany have scored 10 goals across the 4 matches at Euro 2024. Spain's Fabian Ruiz has been involved in 5 goals in his last 4 games in all competitions. That is 3 goals and 2 assists. And then he's both scored and assisted in 2 of his 3 games at Euro 2024 so far. No player has ever done so in 3 different games at a single edition of the UEFA European Championship. Good for you. Good for you. The Toni Kroos has completed 95% of his passes for Germany at Euro 2024. Inspiring right there. All the best to whatever team you support. Now, finally is the Star. How revolt hands Ruto chances for a fresh start. Already, President has indicated looming changes in the government in wake of the new reality. Opportunistic political forces have seized tax protests, that is in the cabinet. And then state was right to stop Raila's 2018 swearing in from a live broadcast. How state deported top EU official for Kenya's wash grey listing. And then the back of the Star newspaper is change of plan, Mora and Ekwam to miss out in the 4x4 100-meter mixed relays in Paris Games. If you are into athletics, I think the Star newspaper does quite a great job about that. That sums it up, the end of the first 2 segments, and I'll be coming up with the notorious 2 for the drift. Stay tuned, keep it locked, keep it right here on EBN TV. The drift is coming up next. And welcome afresh to the drift. This is Friday the 5th of July. Yesterday was the 4th, right? Yes, this is Friday the 5th of July. Chibalonza Consolata is my name. Over to the other side.
Introduce us well.
I'm afraid we will start the show.
Well.
If you're waiting for an introduction, we will start the show.
Introduce me well.
So, moving on to
what are you saying, man?
Yes, choose your struggles.
No, it's you to choose your struggles.
Okay.
It's the two
Moving
of
on
us.
to the first story.
Today, goja. Today is okay. By the
Yeah.
sawa.
Sasa
I'm glad that you said it is July the 5th. Hebu niulize, Ruto is the 5th? Oh, sawa. Nimekumbuka tu. So this show might be dedicated to the one and only. I don't know but welcome guys. Leo na feel tu kuanzia ile pambio ya kuna dawa. Yeah, we want Kenya to be healed after hiyo mambo yote.
Yep.
So nawasihi nyote munywe dawa tunapoanza kipindi chetu cha Drift. Kwa hivyo kaa standby, kaa kwa ward, it's about to be delivered.
Wow.
Aya. Karibu.
Sawa. Good morning. Castro over here. Tuko ready ku drift. Leo mambo ni mengi, mambo ni kem.
Ni vulai, ni tablet.
Mambo ni vulai, lakini
mambo ni capsule.
Wewe ndio unahitaji dawa.
I agree. So this week has been imekuwa number one. Of course, we cannot fail to talk about the mandamanos that were but were not. The leaders are claiming that 90% of the people who occupied last Tuesday were not protesters and they had nothing good in mind, or they were not fighting for the rights, quote unquote, but rather were goons and allegedly hired to disrupt the peace of the citizens. Your thoughts?
Ni ukweli. Initially maandamano tukianza, ambapo tulikuwa kwa mstari wa mbele, and by two I mean wale walikuwa juu. Sai kuna crackdown nimesikia. Actually DCI imetoa orodha ya picha ambazo wanashuku ni watu ambao walihusika katika uhalifu na sehemu mbalimbali. Yes.
Si washukiwa basi. Si ati wanashuku. Those are photos gotten from CCTV. Those are CCTV footages. Those are photos from CCTV footages of either shops or supermarkets or even the parliament itself, where people infiltrated. Some of those goons, I actually have seen them in videos while they were breaking and entering and looting. So they'd take photos from a footage, then they'd fine-tune the photos kiasi, and then that's how they found themselves kwa list ya
Kitu ambacho kinanifanya niseme ni washukiwa ni kwa sababu katika orodha ile kuna picha moja ya jamaa ambaye alikuwa amekaribishwa na Silvana Sosoro katika bunge na akapigwa picha. Lakini wakati DCI walitoa orodha ya picha akajipata ako mle ndani, akashindwa, jamani mimi nilikuwa nimeinvitiwa na Silvana, you know. So apparently alijisalimisha katika kituo cha DCI pale Kiambu na wakaweza kumfanyia kitu inaitwa exoneration na akaweza kutolewa. That's why I'm saying hiyo orodha is suspected. Unajua hata wengine
allegedly.
Yes, because Twitter's on Kenya. I mean, Kenya's on Twitter. Were saying, how do we know hata hao wengine maybe mlitoa picha yao 204, 207, you know?
No, but regardless, like if you find yourself on such a list, the least you could do is avail yourself kwa DCI, because if you don't, they usually give a time period that unaitwa kwa uzuri na kwa upole. Then once you exceed that time unakuwa wanted. And then hata ukishikwa, hata kama hiyo makosa yenye ulikuwa unatafutwa for, you are innocent for, you'll still be guilty ya kutotokea.
Yeah. Ama ukose kutokea ufanywe vile Keter alifanyiwa. But
mcheki vile alikuwa
uliona vile alifanyiwa.
Alikuwa anapiga nduru akiingizwa kwa hiyo gari. But I don't think it was fair the way he was abducted. But anyway, things were happening. A lot of things were happening. But then in that list, do you mean to tell me that Kenyans on Twitter are better at finding people than the real DCI? Because Kenyans on Twitter, you remember, you've seen during the protest how they were finding the policemen that were were causing havoc, that were killing people, mpaka their children na mshahara. So you do mean to tell me that the Kenyans on Twitter are better at finding information with the DCI than the DCI, which also brings me to the part, because now during the protests, for getting information about those policemen that were committing atrocities, ulikuwa unapata ule mse anamjua, there was a collaboration of sharing information. So I think also the way the DCI is set up and the way wanakuga a bit oppressive, though there are places where unapataga they know how to get the fetch information, but how are they working with citizens? Because unapataga a lot of these things wase wanajua. Like the citizens, they know. So if we can collaborate na the citizens well, because the citizens wako na good information, a good intel, I think hapo wanaweza saidiana.
Of course, the best intel is always from the public,
it's
and that's
from
why
the people,
that's why they have such grounds. But you know, the worst part is the public is only willing to help you when it feels like. So all those people listed there, I'm sure, like as Twitterans, if the Twitterans decide, if the Exians decides to like really find those people, it won't even take them 2 days. They will.
Swala langu, wacha niulize tafadhali. DCI mumeweza kutupea orodha ya wananchi ambao walitenda vitendo vya kikatili, uhalifu, ulaghai, wakaweza kuvunja na kupora mali ya watu. Sasa swali langu ni, kwa sababu pia katika maandamano yale tuliweza kuona pia wana kikosi cha polisi ambao wengine walifiatua risasi kiholela, wengine tuliwaona hadi kwa kanda za video, hata sio CCTV, za video zenyewe wakifire tear gas kwa watu, like even just close range na nini, na picha zao ziko. Mbona hatukuwaona kwa ile orodha? Ama ni kumaanisha kuwa kuna orodha ingine ya askari ambao walikiuka sheria? Swali langu hilo.
Hiyo orodha tunayo kama wananchi.
Sisi tunayo, lakini sisi sio DCI. Tutaenda wapi? Tutafanya nini?
Kwa minajili ya kuelimisha taifa kwa jumla na wanadrifti.
Ndio.
Wakati ambapo afisa wa polisi anapokiuka sheria, DCI haina mamlaka ya kumuita ama kumtia faragani. Sawa sawa. Lakini kuna tume ya polisi
inaitwa, mambo sio poa huko, lakini ni sawa. Endelea. Kama ni huko unataka kusema
ipoa.
Yeni roho yangu bado haijapoa.
Badhi inafaa ikuwe ni ipoa ama ni ipoa kama iPhone.
Kama unaongea Kiswahili, kama unaongea English it's ipoa. Lakini kama unaongea Kiswahili ni ipoa.
Na iPhone kwa Kiswahili
iPhone.
Hii simu.
Si vile unasema.
Ni iPhone, hii simu. Sasa iPhone, hii simu.
Okay. Okay. No, I was just asking for clarification.
Sasa tuambie, tuelimishe.
Ikiwa kuna makosa yote, sababu kuu ambayo DCI haiwezi kumshtaki afisa wa polisi, haswa afisa aliyekuwa katika mstari wa kazi. IPOA ndio kama kuna
nani anafanya investigation.
DCI inafaa kuripoti kwa IPOA, and then IPOA inafaa kuangalia huyo polisi kama alikuwa ndio inafanya investigation. Akipatikana
chunguzi.
And the nigga is found. Oh, if the police officer is found. If the police officer is found. If the police officer is found, the only person who can say a police officer was wrong is IPOA. Why? Because they know when and how they are sent and what they're supposed to do in the field. If they are found to have been at fault, it is upon the IPOA again themselves to know how to punish the officer. One, will atanyang'anywa rank yake, or will there be internal disciplinary measures, how will it be taken to the court? And obviously, you know, police officers are not sued or whatever the same as raia wa kawaida, etc. So the buck stops with IPOA. But again, IPOA has no strength or authority to investigate a matter if it was not reported to them. It works just like the court. No matter what you do in Kenya, if nobody reports you to the court itself cannot just wake up and come and arrest you or sue you or bring you to itself. So if people are, since there are claims of police brutality and mismanagement of power and all that, people should make formal complaints to IPOA and then follow up from there.
Kwa hivyo if no one reports then hakutakuwa na. Kwa hivyo vyombo vya habari vinahitaji reporters wengi ili tukue na.
Stop messing with my head, but that's not what I meant.
Okay, so.
Yeah, stop messing with my head, but that's not what I meant. What I mean is, for those who are at home, not for Victor, this information is excluded from Victor's ears. To those who are at home, what I mean by reporting is not report to EBN, but making a formal complaint. A formal complaint to IPOA detailing your complaint, who, where, when. Not on Twitter, not on X, not on IG, not on FB, but to IPOA.
The institution that's mandated.
Yeah.
All right. But imekuwa tricky. Yeah, kuna claims that, not actually claims, there are people who are, the protests began very peacefully, but along the way, let me use the word hijacked, because things were not going the way they were supposed to. And so now people don't even know who is who anymore. So,
I was actually listening to a commissioner from IPOA who actually detailed all that I've said. And he said the hardest job as IPOA is protecting citizens and police officers at the same time. The same way you can report a police officer to IPOA is the same way a police officer can report a civilian to IPOA.
Do you remember? You see the clip of those policemen that ran away?
Where?
I don't know where it was.
Yes.
Whether it was in Mombasa or it was somewhere here in Nairobi. The people started pelting them with stones. Hey, one retreated, the rest retreated and they ran away. I don't know, it was in Kisumu. And then they had those shields and then they just ran away to find cover. But it's so sad that this movement started as an innocent movement working towards a very valid goal. And then now, there are like shady characters, people who have taken those opportunities, and it is claimed that some of these goons have been hired to come and to spoil the movement, because there's this law we call the law of the fifth man, the fifth column, where you win the battle from within the city, like you plant someone, like in ancient times
Trojan horse.
The Trojan horse. So in ancient times you used to find like the city was inaitwa ilikuwa iko na ukuta around, so it had a hedge of wall, so there was no way of infiltrating from the outside, unless probably from the outside, because every city used to have gates. So now for you to get into the city, you plant someone inside the city. Because like, you remember the case of Jericho? The walls of Jericho. So there was Rahab. She was the only person and her lineage, because they managed to protect the spice. So from there, they were able, their lives were spared. So now if you have I think now what I suspect probably it has been the government, people in the government who allowed those goons to come and to diffuse the protest from within.
Umetumia jina kubwa kubwa, diffuse, umenikumbusha maybe wameosmosize, but also kuna ni vizuri pia, unajua kuna watu, tunaona na watu pia ambao wako shule, na ni vizuri hata hizi, but I like also venye umetumia analogy ya Jericho. Tukumbuke wa Kenya ambao mnanisikiza ya kwamba kuta za Jericho kuta za Yeriko siku moja zilifika chini. Kwa hivyo, but it's true what you're saying. I was actually listening to Kindiki yesterday night. He was saying that they do have information that kuna watu who are pro-government and also who are not supporting government that have been linked, and okay, obviously he cannot talk about ongoing investigations, but anasema wakona hizo jina and their investigation is leading them to such a direction. And what they have done ni wameshikana, or they have funded or enabled goons or cliques or cells of people who are of bad conduct. Like ni kama mnaenda mnapata kikundi yenye wamejiestablish, si tunanyonganga watu side za Dandora for 20 years, this our track record, ndio CV tupeeni kazi. Okay, sawa. Nani wengine si tunafanyanga wamama wapige nduru mudhurwa.
Like how you remember how there were times when the people in leadership, those governments, they used the Mungiki sect for their agenda, to scare people and all that. So now I think how we can look at it is into perspectives. One, people are in government and want to diffuse this because they are scared, and two, people who are opportunists, trying to take opportunity in this season. And then also in the third place, now the goons, when you wanaona now Nairobi ndio hii sasa tunaweza chafua, when those people who in normal circumstances do not get an opportunity to chafua in the city, so wamepata opportunity. So I remember those protests that Tuesday that I went, ile time they managed to get into parliament. You know, now hizi news zili spread, so we were like, hey, kama wase wameingia parliament kutakuwa kuna macha tutoke. So as we were checking, because I usually pick my math at BS, so BS hakuna math, so lazima tunyonge na mudhurwa, tupenye twende tukatuke.
Bro, ngoja, umesema lazima mnyonge.
Tunyoroshe.
If you had not reacted on that, I will say today you are not.
No, I'm just saying, you wanajua kunyonga ni lazima.
Yeah.
Ni tunyoroshe na hiyo. I know where you're going.
Wazee, umeingia mood ya maandamano, ulikuwa unaona tu lazima tunyonge.
So you see, I remember I saw someone, is you see those ni tu vibuyu ama ni tu containers.
Jerrycan.
Not jerrycan.
Okay.
You remember, so unacheki place ukiingia Quickmart, pataga ka place kakona kama boyu, uto tu vibuyu, tu maboyu, tu chevda, niko na msee amebeba hii kitu, niko like, si kitu ni ya Quickmart.
True.
Kwenda hivi, cheki msee mwingine amebeba gunia ya shuge 50 kgs. Mwingine ako na unga, mwingine ako na mafuta, and then msee alinibamba. Unacheki hizi rails zinakonga kwa road. Msee amezibeba mbili, anasema leo niko na kitanda.
Walai. Chuma.
So for me, I was like, easy stuff ni za Quickmart, and it means hapa kusha obtainiwa ni hivyo. So later in the evening ndio nacheki, Quickmart imeobtainiwa, nasikia Quickmart ndani ilikuwa inakaa tu paki na ina magari.
Ni serious.
And then wase wanaziuza, so ukiingia mudhurwa ni kama sa mudhurwa ndio walikuwa wanaenda kupiga trade. Ukiingia nasikia hii sabuni nini
unacheki
hapo na jik, alafu imeshikana nako kajik kadogo ka con offers. Niko na so bwana nakupe.
Kuna madhaliziwa mafuta ya 20 liters na 3 so. Exactly. You know, sasa ukichukua hizi vitu, utafikisha mtaa, unaenda kufanyia nini? Hiyo mafuta hata labda uchukue tu kidogo uende upake manzi yako mafuta kwa mgongo wa chupa kama mehenga. Like hakuna mahali unaweza ipeleka, unacheki. So hiyo mafuta inabaki umeikinda, at least your road imekufanya nini? Imekupeleka kama hiyo 3 so imekupeleka mtaa. So
the ones that burnt that building the other day. Because I remember even when we were living Tao, this building ndio upenye uingie BS, like wase walikuwa wameanza kuinua, yani uko like me, it was so sad. I was like, and then I'm like, now it's turned into now looting. What is this? And then there is a stark difference between the other guys who are protesting, people are smart and all that. But this one's goons, yani ukiona, yani ni wale wase, yani knuckles unaona tu hapa ni black, yani ukiona sura uko like,
it cannot be the same people. Umse mwenye anafinya hivi kwa nini anatype ati protest na maandamano. Cannot be the same person anangoa reli. Jamaa wa reli ukimpea simu hivi akifinya kidole moja simu imepasuka. So we have to differentiate wale wa, and ara nilifika mahali nikasema kama imefika hapo na ulikuwa kwa maandamano yako, just stop, because hata kuna unaweza angalia tu msi. Hiyo nguvu ya kungoa hivi chuma ya nini? Unafikiria ndio nguvu ya kutype hivi? Hai.
Now I know why Alan's phone looks the way. Ding ding ding.
Sio poa.
Hata ya vitu ndio.
Sio poa.
But you know, this is the worst time to be a police officer. And I'm saying this is because this, with the same energy that the Gen Zs were complaining that there was police brutality and whatnot, the same energy was used by business people complaining that there was a lack of security.
Yeah.
There was lack of enough security kwenye walikuwa. Now the bad side was polisi wakienda huko kwenye kulikuwa na looting na goons and stuff, walikuwa pia wao wanabembelezwa. So juu wanakimbizwa hivi wanaenda wanakutana na wale wasufti, which is Gen Z, which are the protesters.
But are we supposed to give them a pass? And first of all, they're employed to do that, and they are trained to do that.
Yes, they're employed to do that.
Yes,
they're trained to do that. But I don't think.
Are we going to give them a pass? And they are professionals, and that is what they are supposed to be doing.
I agree, they're professionals. That's what they're supposed to be doing. But then again, they also need somebody to take care of them.
Of course.
Right?
But I believe they have the structures in their unit. But
exactly.
I feel for them.
The same structures, it's a whole conundrum, because the same structure that is supposed to protect the police is the same structure that is supposed to discipline the police.
But going back to the moment before you're recruited to become a police, I believe you always know what you're signing up for. That's why some of us have chosen to be civilian and just of course these opportunities are always there. See, these not presented.
Okay.
But you choose. I believe that by the time you're going to take yourself kwa hiyo field, ufanye kila kitu, uingizwe kwa ile room, utoe kila kitu, uonekane kila kitu. You know what you're getting yourself into.
It's different for the different, and I think that's why they have stages and whatever in classes. If we were to send traffic police officers, I love you guys, but no offense, waende hapo, like literally there's absolutely nothing that would have been done.
Yeah.
This is not to say that they did not.
How will the traffic police officer or act commandamano?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There are different levels to the police officers. Ukiangalia military were not moved by anything or anyone. In fact, when the protesters walikuwa wanadandia hizo gari zao, hizo matankas and what, they were not even moved, they were just moving, like you do your worst.
Ni kama mtoto akicheza na kiatu ya babake.
Yeah, exactly. I think KDF and I think just the military we're going to die, like their life is already, they don't have a life.
Because they know they were not coming for a war.
Exactly. Yeah. But you see, listen, KDF wangeambiwa Katambe, it wouldn't have mattered who, where or how. Wakikukuta wanasonga na wewe. Because that's how they're trained. That's how they're trained. It's not the same kama anti-riot. Ndio maana anti-riot watakuja na hizo manguo zao 10,000 na marungu na hizo shields zao, and still meet goons wenye wametoka D yenye waogopi kitu na wasukumanishe na hizo ma shields zao.
But also one of the things I have tend to observe probably with how the police were handling all this, I think probably the police did not have proper organization. There was I think from their side hakukuwa na good organization and they were overwhelmed. And then number 3, there has been a big highlight of some bit of incompetence with the police service.
Sawa, ni watu wametumwa Haiti, just saying.
But then did you see how they were parading in the streets and
yeah, they were just walking.
Na wamevaa tu vipoa kama watu wako kazi.
Yeah.
I just hope they wafanye kazi.
I just hope they won't have to work.
Wasirudi wakiwa maiti.
Somebody's hour is rubbing in on somebody. Right. Now, speaking of goons,
yes.
There's this video that is going around. Alleged hired goons demand for full payment as their political masters disappear after the anti-government protest.
Yes.
Now, if you see the video, the guys are recording themselves in a very dark place. It's dark, and the person talking has some weird shades and has a darker color, na amevaa hoodie and stuff, and they're saying walibaiwa rungu, wakapewa pesa ya kubai hizo chuma walikuwa wanatumia, and then now when they try to call them for like the remainder of the cash, simu zao either hazipikiwi ama wanaignoriwa. So walikuwa wanasema ati walienda City Hall wapewe hizo vitu walipewa, and then Sakaja is like, mimi hata sikuwa City Hall, mimi niko Diani, tuko na staff retreat. Sakaja's words. But I don't know if you can play it. David, can we have it?
Nini mlitupigia simu asubuhi?
Bana jo.
Twende hapo City Hall hapo.
Manguare.
Kisha na maana tulikuwa watu 50 mpaka na mavijana wenzangu.
Wakatupatia marungu bana.
Wakatupatia hizi marungu. Sasa mnatupatia kazi tunashinda mpaka hadi wenzetu wengine wanapigwa hadi na matia kasa hadi mpaka wao wanabaki.
Bana.
Kisha na maana sasa tunapiga masimu, hizo masimu zetu
hazishikui, tunashanga kwa ni rada ni gani mpaka watenje sasa hizi hawatushiki matenje.
Tunaenda mpaka huko Riverside.
Na ikitushaokolea jo tumeshawalindia mamali zao, itakuwa ni aje.
Mnatupatia tulinde nazo town, watu wasingie town. Na hadi mpaka mlitupiga simu hapa tufike hapo City Hall. Hiyo ni mambo gani hiyo mnatuletea nyinyi?
Wanatupatia pesa yetu, watumalizie tu.
Tulipatia asubuhi hiyo ilikuwa ni down payment. Hiyo ingine tunataka. Sasa tunataka mtatulipa.
Lazima watumalizie. Lazima mtatumalizie.
Hataki ujinga.
Mwenye anibamba kwa hiyo video ni mwenye anaongea like the cameraman. The cameraman ndio cheerleader wa kwanza. Mwingine kwa like hizi room bana tupeni. Huyo hapo cheerleading baya. Now reaction ya Kenyans, msilipwe, shame on you. Waacha waende, wakienda wenye walienda hata wasipika kabisa.
Why you guys should feel ashamed of yourself. Like people are out here in the streets putting our lives on the line for the betterment of our nation, and you guys are allowing yourself to be used to spoil a good movement like this. Kwani you guys do not understand where we are at as a nation. Like shame on these guys. There is no mboka. Hakuna mboka kama hiyo. You fall even with those politicians that paid you. Kwanza I wish our politicians when that have hired you wakuwe exposed, man.
But then you see the problem with Kenyans is hata wakiexposiwa, if for instance huyo boy ametoka tu hapo sai aseme
Batman.
Nice. Huyo politician huyo guna ametoka hapo sai aseme tumelipwa na politician X. Same people wataanza nyinyi mmelipwa muharibie X jina.
Ai, sai tunatumia kuna kitu inatumiwa. Hebu
gani?
Hiyo ni nini hiyo kitu?
Salamu.
Yes.
Takusalimia.
Salama salimini.
Sasa unasalimia nani?
Lakini expose we say hi.
Let me take a different approach. It is so sad, I feel for these guys, because it has taken them kulipwa kufanya kazi ya kiholela to realize that politicians are not to be trusted. Kama hawalipi daktari ambao wanaokoa maisha, nyinyi ambao mnataka kuchukua maisha, nyinyi ndio mtalipwa. Hebu tufikirie tu, let us use our medulla kidogo. Again, you guys, if you worked with the Gen Z, mnasema ati mnajaribu simu zao zingi. Kuna Gen Z amekaa pale nyumbani KFC venye tuliambiwa naishungwa, ametoka hapo amegusisha kachipo ndani ya ka sauce, amekula hivi. Akoko hapo hivi anaangalia nani Silvana Sosoro number 1, number 2, number 3. Akona namba zake zote hadi za bibi. Ungekuwa na waki na hawa kama umfikii through au ufikii Sakaja through nani, unaweza pata ya mtoto wake. Mwambie bupe dadi simu. We cheki.
You know, tunajua mahali huko.
Kuna sometimes the pen is, I mean the mind is sharper than so hiyo tactics mimi nawahurumia because you chose the different tactics kidogo. You know, kuna wakati wa kuflex na kuna wakati wa kuflex. So I feel for them. It's wrong what they are doing, but I'm just saying, what do you expect? You know, unless mtaenda mtumio kifua kwa wenye wamewa nini hivyo. And I don't know. Wow, it's sad.
It's so sad.
Hata nyie mlipwi.
Like you see,
the government does not have
the government is trying to create jobs out here. Nyinyi mnapewa jobs za kazi.
The government does not have money. The government does not have money. In fact, wacha hata nitetee gava. Hata huyo mwenye huyo politician analipa wanataka kukatwa mshahara.
But huyo guy anakaa security official mzuri. Mimi ningesema president kwa hii housing project ukikosa watchman ama guards hapo nje, please vijana wasikose kazi.
Ama ndio anafaa kwenda kuchunga bunge.
Batman. Mtu wote usiku. Wamejua nini za manuva. Watu wengine huko nje wanapatikana CCTV. Hapo watu wakimulikia CCTV 10 hautamuona. Marvin ya black. Gogos ni za black. Skin ni melanin. Kila kitu
yeye na ala na wewe.
But it's sad. They should not do that, but it's just a sad state of affairs that kuna watu wenye wanalipa watu wengine.
So them they have experienced what the majority of the generation is standing up for.
This
first hand. So wow, experience first hand. Kutokwa.
Yeah, true. It's very sad.
Kutokwa Kipetero.
It's a problem.
Na hapo walikuwa wamepewa down payment ama walikuwa
na down payment bana. Hiyo down payment. Hiyo down payment iliwasaidia kubai marungu, iliwasaidia kubai unaona hizo mangepa manini. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to 2027. The revolution and the ballot.
Let me tell you.
Remember Malcolm X said there's a famous speech he said, which it was titled right now it's the ballot or the bullet. So next time it will be the ballot. After people
sasa
the bullets.
Tunasema revolution sawa. Who will be in that ballot?
No.
Because I remember the main reason as to why Gen Z hawakuvote hata last time walikuwa nasema hawoni mtu worth voting for. That was the issue on the table. Even right now, so far Gen Z hawana leader.
So
who will be on the ballot?
There are so many leaders, right? I was watching one Goyodera this week, and he was saying how the church was duped to think the man in the house is like the guy, but they overlooked someone who was really God-fearing, someone who has had a law practice for over 30 years, and he has been an honest man, Mr. Wahiga.
Well,
there are leaders. Leaders are there. They are available. And if you see now in those elections that are coming, we will be looking at the track record of the people. What have they done and all that. Leaders are there.
I don't want to sound like the route atakuwa X at 11 a.m. 11 to 2 p.m.
Will handle.
That's why I was saying to Pablo, we are ready. President, we are ready.
Anywho, as I was saying, I don't really believe or stand in the same school of thought. Ya watu wenye wanasema the church was duped or the church was misled or no. Just because somebody did something wrong, it doesn't automatically scratch out the fact that he was or could have been God's choice. Just because Saul was absolutely not
I was quoting.
Yes,
I was
and I am saying from the quotations.
I was quoting.
I'm speaking from the quotations. Yes, from the quotations. Just because Saul did wrong did not mean that he was not anointed. He was actually anointed and appointed by God. I would not like encourage the church to go through like back to we should have. That's not. No. There is never a day. I am a strong believer that there is never a day Kenya will have a leader that is not approved by God. But again, I am a strong believer.
Wait.
God.
Hitler.
You want to tell me Hitler cannot be approved by God?
Mussolini.
Even Nebuchadnezzar.
Joseph Stalin.
Even Nebuchadnezzar. Do you know God refers to Nebuchadnezzar as my servant? What? I will send you the verses where God refers to Nebuchadnezzar as my servant.
Adolf Hitler, wait.
Yes, he could be Adolf Hitler. He could have even killed those who...
Mussolini.
Yes.
Idi Amin.
Kwanza kabisa church. The only person who knows what true justice is seated high on the throne that he cannot share with anyone. You know, Sanda na yo papa. Exactly. Bad to us is bad. Yes. But bad never means God did not allow. Tafakari.
Hallelujah.
Tafakari.
Namba ya M-Pesa iko hapo chini ambao mnataka kupeana katika
07. Now, wacha tutoke huko kwa what is good and what is bad and God and man and what, because God is God. At the end of the day, he is God. And nothing he does not want will happen unless he allows it. Now, moving on very swiftly, Victor Mbamino mkono because of why?
I am blessed.
Sasa kuna mwimbaji anakuja Kenya. Lakini watu hawajafurahia jinsi ya namna ambavyo nilikuwa nafikiria ama nawaza watu wangepaswa kufurahia. Mwimbaji huyu ametoka Rwanda, anaitwa Israel Mbonyi.
First of all, Kenyans love this guy. But those ticket prices.
Yes.
What? You know me, so I looked at those prices, I was like, where is of course now
3,000.
6,000?
I did 20k. See, there is
kuna
then I was like, I'm like, of course, yes, we love his music and all that, but is this more commercial than more?
Of course, bei iko sawa, timing ndio mbaya. Bro, umekuja after finance bill. Cheki. Sasa haukusema wase wako wa advice. Bado ungekam to before. Hapo to before. Tulikuwa fiti. Sasa hata ndio watu wanataka file returns. Tunaanza manini returns huku alafu gava yona unatoa 3,000 alafu unatoa 3K. Umetoa wapi? Ya kwenda sherehe.
So Kenyans are like ati yani nina siri peke yake. Hiyo siri pia sisi tuko nayo. Like you just come but we will not be attending. On the flip side,
those prices.
On the flip side, Kingdom World Tour will also be here. Maverick City and the group and Kirk Franklin and for them, ticket is going for 5,000. In fact, yes. In fact, ya Kirk Franklin hiyo na Maverick City hiyo kuna 3,000 inaisha leo. Like if you want to pay 3,000, deadline ni leo. After leo ni 5,000. Watoto ni 1,500. Blah blah blah. Wow. But for that, people are not complaining.
Wow.
For you, Akina Maverick.
Yeah, Akina Maverick, no one is talking.
Ama it's an issue because the guy is like an African like us.
Wacha nisi. Okay. Na msinipige. Wale ambao wako na siri na ni wa huyu, maybe kamfuko akajafika hapo. Kuna siri mfuko iko nayo. Lakini wale wanasikiza Kirk Franklin, probably it's not even an issue of
makes me wanna jam.
But that is true though.
Yeah, ukisikiza wale ambao wenye wanataka kufuata hii siri sana ndio hao unajua.
Ama ni juu Kirk Franklin akona hiyo song flani and because now it is the season of
revolution.
Do you want a revolution? Do you want a revolution?
So, but I
do you want a revolution?
I agree with
check.
Bro. bro.
Na ile chang.
Cheki kan Frank
Victor malizia hiyo nini? Victor
lipia huyu jamaa ticket bana. Amejiadvertise hapa.
Victor unakata kumalizia.
Mimi sifai hiyo ufala.
Victor unakata kumalizia nini?
But anyway, ni poa
leo tunaenda hadi saa 4. Leo tunaoccupy EBN TV hakuna kitu tunatuambia. Wote
ni poa, nyinyi wase kujeni tufanyeni hiyo wimbo, but pia realizing
wase wasipo sana kwa group ni pia hata 5 minutes.
Wase wasipotokea sio ati atuwapendi ama atuwafeel, ni venye tu at this point mali imefika Kenya is a kedo, you know, iko hivyo. But kujeni, by the way, kujeni.
But honestly, I tend to agree with what you said earlier on, Victor.
Yes.
You know, the people who listen to Nina Siri and Israel Mbonyi are, so to speak, in Ruto's word, hustler. Mama Mboga.
Yeah, true.
No, truly. You will never find Mama Mboga kwa hiyo kioski yake ameweka wait on the Lord.
Ni ukweli though. Majority.
The kind of people who listen to wait on the Lord wako kwa line ya KFC.
Waki wait on the chips. On the unaona? Yeah, so inategemea hiyo. So watu wenye wanasikiza hizi sana.
Hey guys,
mainly.
Me, I'm not talking to you guys.
And that is why unasikia hata wengine hawateti. Unaona? Like he has 5,000 hata mkaeka 10,000.
Look, there is always this thing we have as probably as a continent that when things from other continents like US na UK, we tend to put more value on them than the things which are for zenye za hapa. Ni kama made in China na made in Kenya.
Yani mimi nakwambia
unasunganga naye.
Sawa, lakini nakwambia hivi, unaona huyu anaimba na Kiswahili, sawa? Kwa hivyo hiyo ina appeal more to watu wengi kwa sababu even more people are Swahili speaking hapa. So for the people who are singing in maybe a language that you might not understand or it's not fast to you, utakuwa like it's not for everyone, it's for a group of people. So if that group of people is like umelipisha 5k, mbona sio 7? Wewe 10 ongeza hiyo 200.
And putting every matter into consideration, you know Maverick City is a group. Maverick City Israel Mbonyi ni solo.
Exactly.
In fact,
BGVs anakamna group.
No, BGVs wake in fact wanatafuta hapa Kenya. They're doing I saw what's Bire the vocalist doing a promo saying if you want to be featured in Israel Mbonyi's team to sing along, so you just send a video tag worship and then you compare mtu amtoka US atalipa how much kukuja hapa na akuji solo. So we are counting Kirk Franklin, we are counting Maverick City. Maverick City is not a one person thing. Tuseme kuna wale top 6, kuna kina nani huyo msichana, kuna Chandra, kuna hao watu wote. Put that into consideration. Anaitisha 5Gs. It looks more worth it compared to mtu anaitisha hedo
Israel. Wacha niambie Israel kuna dema anaitwa nini, Priscilla wa Imani, uko Nairobi unaweza kutafuta. Akona sauti fiti sana, anaweza reach masses bila hata mic.
But then history bado ya Israel I don't think imefanywa justice in regards to marketing. Kama history ya kina Kirk Franklin. Ya kina Kirk Franklin, the marketing yenye inafanywa ni
top notch.
But ya Israel, do you know how Kenyans love Israel Mbonyi?
They do.
So much.
They do.
So much. So I think there is no one, the people who are doing the marketing and all that.
Kuna siri hawajafichuliwa.
That's all for today, guys. My name is Chibalonza. I'll see you on Friday again. Oh Lord.
Those guys.
Maybe kata hiki tutuenda home.
Kwa nipatieni dakika 5. Kidogo kwanza. Give me 5 minutes before you finish this thing. Niko na jambo nataka kusema.
Tukifunga.
Sasa manze leo mjanipatia opportunity ya kusoma gazeti bwana. Hizi story umepiga ni mingi bwana, hata sijasoma gazeti na vile iko na story last supper. History ya Koome na vile nilikuwa nimeng'ara, history ya cabinet. Next week tutachambua gazeti za hii wiki na nyingine. We have a deal. Sawa baba. Anyway, thank you for such an amazing show. Nimeenjoy. Leo mmenipata flat footed.
Guys, see you on the streets. If we don't see you on the streets, see you nini pale tuki engage our president wacha tu let's go sober mind.
Kwa vile Murkomen alikujanga Express jo alipelekeshwa.
But I really hope Kenyans tuko tu erevu tunapata chance ya kuwa na Orezo. Acha matusi kwanza, ongea facts alafu matusi baadaye. Acha tumtusi kwa nini
comments. Hizo dakika za mwisho. Unaona venye huyu ametoa hizo 5 minutes za mwisho. Sasa hapo mnaweza mwambia sipendangi venye umekeep fit. Kwani hizi naona kama presidents wengine sasa huko mwisho. But hapa kwa mwanzo
David kata kitu ndio kata kitabu. This guy is Chibalonza
Victor ni kama ndio drift imeanza basi. Sasa hii ndio tumeanza hii David ile tumekuwa serious sana bwana.